Alright guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. Today, Friday, I'm doing basically an unscripted video for the first time in a very long time. I want to talk about a new feature that's coming with TU11 that apparently we all started talking about from the Division, and it's now coming to the Division 2. We don't know what it is yet, but I just want to quickly talk about that because it's now been kind of piqued my interest following this week in the Division 2 article coming from the devs. I also want to talk about weapon talents and talents that need to be removed off certain weapons because they've got absolutely no place in the game. And then I want to end it on a bit of a discussion around PvE players going into the Dark Zone and then complaining that PvP players are ganking them in the Dark Zone. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy this one. If you do, drop a like down below, subscribe for Division content, and let's begin. Alright guys, so I was planning on making a video today, and then I saw there was really nothing to talk about, no news or really any kind of topics I wanted to go over, so actually I wasn't going to make one. However, recently I got notified of this week in the Division 2 on Twitter from Abrix, who basically said, I wonder what this could be, and I'm going to show you what he means in a minute. If I go to my notifications here it is. I wonder what this could be. It's something to do with the priority alerts in this week in the Division 2, and I just want to quickly go over it here, so we don't need to worry about this sort of stuff. This is just Huntsman League and all that. But this is what I wanted to go over. So it says, there was no State of the Game stream this week, but we will return on August 19th with a new look at a feature coming with TU11 that's been a popular request since the early days of the Division. And now that has piqued my interest, and I'm going to say thanks to Abrix for this, because I would have saw this little part here and basically not read the rest. So, you know, thanks very much for doing that. And it's really piqued my interest because I've got no idea what this could be. You know, the people have commented about Skyscraper and stuff, but, you know, at the end of the day, the Division 1 did have replayable content, and that's what Skyscraper is bringing to the Division 2. But this is the early days of the Division, so this goes back to the first one. And I'm really kind of stumped at what feature this could be. So I'm kind of putting this out to you guys. Get in the comments down below. Let me know of any features from the Division that was kind of popular that people wanted that we didn't get in the end, because I've tried to rack my brain for the last couple of minutes before making this video. I didn't want to kind of ponder on it too long because I kind of wanted to get this out as soon as possible, kind of get people talking about it. But I can't think for the life of me what this feature could be. We know Skyscraper's coming, we know there's changes coming to mods. Aside from that, I don't know of any other changes that are coming with TU11. So really, for you guys, I just want to know what you think it might be. I've got my notifications on. I've responded to Abrix here about what it could be, and I'm hoping people will start talking about it here on Twitter, because I think it's important that we try and find out what this is. Maybe some people can come up with some stuff. Ollie put mannequins. It's sad that I'm actually laughing at my own tweet. Underground with resistance mechanics, i.e. Skyscraper, or possible survival mechanics. Finding gear with contamination mechanics, possibly. So it could be that Skyscraper has these different kind of mechanics that we didn't have from, or they're all combined, if that makes sense. I think it's going to be something that's completely separate to Skyscraper. I think it's going to be something that we may have even forgot about, but it's something that we wanted in the Division and would fit with the Division 2. We just don't know what it is yet. And yeah, like I said, for you guys, get in the comments, let me know what you think it could be. This has really piqued my interest for Wednesday's State of the Game. So moving on, guys, and if you didn't know, I pretty much script all of my videos just because I find it's way easier to get stuff across. It allows me to put all my stuff on paper and try and not mumble too much. But seeing as the start of this video was all about this new feature, and that was completely not scripted, I thought I'd just finish the video off with the rest of it basically not being scripted. So the one thing I want to talk about quickly here is weapon talents, and the reason I want to talk about them is I saw a tweet earlier on and I can't find it for the life of me now. If I do find it, then I will include it here in the video, but I've not been able to for the last couple of hours. But basically it was a tweet about the sawed-off shotgun where it rolled magazine size as one of the talents. And obviously the person who tweeted it said, look, this shouldn't be a thing. And I totally agree, and I've talked about this before, and I just want to briefly talk about it again, because I really hope the devs consider this as a change for TU11. Something like mag size, 10% mag size increase on a sawed-off shotgun, it shouldn't be there, right? It's just having RNG for the sake of RNG. I'd go as far as something like rate of fire on marksman rifles, especially the low rate of fire, the low RPM marksman rifles. Rate of fire on those, makes absolutely no sense. Even rate of fire on rifles in general really make no sense. I don't know anyone who runs a rate of fire on a marksman rifle, or even just a rifle in general, because it really makes no difference at all. The amount, the RPM on those weapons are already quite low, so the percentage increase is low. So it really makes no difference, and there's always going to be a million better options to that. And so I really think the devs really need to consider how they go about taking some of those talents out of the loot pool for certain weapons. I think even like something like the double barrel shotgun can have Ranger on it, which again makes absolutely no sense in this game. And I think really what they need to do is they need to take some of these talents away, just because they really make no sense. Now, what I do know will happen is if they do this, then they don't need to go overkill, because there will be some that even a few players are going to use, right? There will be some talents that are kind of like on the fence of being just completely not worth it, or maybe worth it, I don't know. So what they need to do is just get rid of the ones that really are just completely not worth it, like magazine size on a sawed-off, Ranger on a shotgun, rate of fire on marksman rifles, especially the low RPM ones, and all the other ones that are in the game. They really need to make that change happen for TU11, because at the end of the day, it's just filler. And all it does is it just causes frustration. And that's what the devs are doing right now. Aside from doing the content stuff, they're trying to get rid of frustration, whether that be NPCs or loot. So this would get rid of a big frustration, I think, within the community around weapons and the talents that can roll on them. Alright, so next up, this isn't really a rant, but it's more of a discussion, really. I saw a post earlier on from someone, I can't remember who it was, but I read it and immediately almost got triggered a little bit. Basically, it was about, I think they were basically complaining that they've gone into the Dark Zone to do PvE, and they keep getting ganked by PvP players, and they're moaning that PvP players shouldn't attack PvE players in the Dark Zone, and they should just do their PvP stuff, or if they do want a PvP, that they should go into conflict. And I guess this is where I have my frustrations within, with certain players in the community, because at the end of the day, the Dark Zone is what the Dark Zone is. It's a PvEVP arena. That's how it was in the Division 1. That's how it is in the Division 2. And you shouldn't be going into the Dark Zone to farm for PvE, because if you know anything about PvE and you know anything about loot, then you know that the Dark Zone, when it comes to loot, is scaled to challenging difficulty. So it would make sense that if you can play it challenging, or you want to get challenging difficulty loot, that you just go and do challenging difficulty stuff outside of the Dark Zone. Or if you're in there to get good loot, then you probably want to go out of there anyway and go and do heroic stuff, especially if you're in a team where challenging and heroic and stuff like that are easier than perhaps, say, as a solo player. But if you're going to the Dark Zone for PvE, then you're going in at your own risk, right? I do agree that the Dark Zone loot needs to be increased. I think it needs to go up to a heroic scaled loot so that there is more of that risk reward. And I also think that there should be the option to have legendary loot. Maybe you have, a couple of bosses here and there that come in and whatever, and they drop legendary stuff, and that really increases that, risk reward factor that's needed in the Dark Zone. But you shouldn't be going into the Dark Zone to PvE and then complain about being ganked by PvP players, because that's exactly what the Dark Zone is there for. Now, there obviously is that whole issue that people have asked for before, or feature that people have asked for before, which is a PvE Dark Zone, because the Dark Zone, certainly in the Division 1, I don't think this applies to the Division 2 if I'm being honest, but in the Division 1, the Dark Zone had this atmosphere that you couldn't find anywhere else in the game, and I think a PvE Dark Zone there, whilst I still didn't really agree with it, made more sense. In the Division 2, the Dark Zones don't really add anything that's not already in the game outside of the Dark Zone. So if you're not going there for the environment and you're going there just for PvE, then really, you should just be doing PvE in missions or in the LZ, because especially if you don't want to have that PvP frustration. So all I've got to say is, if you're one of those players going into PvE in the Dark Zone and you're getting ganked by PvP players and that's annoying you, then perhaps you should just not go in the Dark Zone, because that's exactly what that mode is for. It's like going into Modern Warfare and going into Battle Royale and complaining that you're being shot by 100 players. Well, yeah, you're in a Battle Royale. That's exactly what that mode is for. That's probably not the best example off the top of my head. I bet if I scripted this video, I'd be able to think of a way better example. But it's like going into a mode and then complaining about that mode, even though that's the mode that you've gone into, knowing full well what that mode is all about. That's like doing a hardcore character on the Division 2 and then dying and then complaining that you know that your experience has ended. Well, yeah, you're a hardcore character. That's what you chose to do, and that same thing applies to the Dark Zone. So yeah, come on, guys, like. Just please, that's what the Dark Zone is for. I don't go into the Dark Zone because firstly the loot's not good enough, secondly PvP is awful in this game, but I'm not also going to go in there if I do have to and complain that I'm being ganked by PvP players, because that's exactly what the Dark Zone is for. Alright, so that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. It is Friday, so hopefully you all have a very good weekend. I'm about to eat a curry and really enjoy it. I will see you next week. Hopefully I'll have some news and stuff for Monday's video, but if I don't and I can't get anything out to you guys, I'm not going to force it out, so I will put out a video on Wednesday following the state of the game, with hopefully a lot more news around TU11. Until that one, epic out.